Last week, there was a story on the news which I found interesting, and maybe only nerds like me would find interesting, but it's about the accuracy of maps of the world, particularly those used in globes. It seems like back in the 1500s, a map was created for use for navigation of sailing ships, and it turned out eventually to be proved inaccurate. It has the size of what's now the British Isles and Northern Europe and North America to be greatly oversized, and particularly Greenland to be greatly oversized, where the Southern Hemisphere, or South America and Africa, are greatly undersized in this map. In fact, Greenland is as big as the entire continent of Africa on this map, and that's certainly not the case. The continent's 15 times larger than Greenland, but that's just an example. And there was some discussion about changing this, and it would seem to me that most people would want an accurate map, to use for globes, but apparently it gets into politics and cultural things or whatever, but that's the way things are now. Welcome to our videos from St. Mark's Episcopal in Dalton, Georgia, all church members and others joining us on various social media. But it reminds me of a story. My daughter, after she graduated from college, she was hired by a program run by the government of Japan. My daughter could speak Japanese from her studies as an undergraduate, and she was chosen with about 100 or so other new college graduates to go to Japan to work for 13 months in their school systems, teaching English and teaching Western culture to the students there. And she went over there and got a job working at an all-girls high school in the northern part of Japan, and stayed there, like I said, for 13 months trying to teach English. But she was telling me the story, when I was telling her about this discussion about the world globe, she was relating a story from a friend of hers who was also in this program, although they worked in a town a couple of hours away, who was from Ireland, had been hired for the same program to teach English. And when she got there to Japan, she was trying to teach her students that she was from a country called Ireland. And the students questioned, said, "Oh, you mean Iceland?" She said, "No, Ireland." And they said again, "Oh, Iceland." They said, "No, Ireland." And they had never heard of it. And she was shocked. How could somebody not have heard of Iceland? I'm sorry, not have heard of Ireland. Well, she said, "Okay, well, I'm going to show you." So she went to a map and they had in the school library to show them where she was from. Well, as I learned a long time ago, I thought it's unusual that all the maps that I've ever seen of the world, have North and South America in the center and the rest of it spread out. Most of the maps I've read that originated from the British Empire, like that, have England in the center of the world and the rest of the world spread out. Well, Japan, not unsurprisingly, has Japan in the center of the map of the world, and everything else spread out. So when she went to the school library to look at this map, it turns out they got to the edge of the map at the United Kingdom, the Great Britain, or whatever. They cut it off at the northern part of Great Britain, and Ireland was not on the map. So these students were amazed that this person was claiming to be from a country, as far as they knew from their perspective and their knowledge, did not even exist. So how could she explain that she was from a country that didn't exist? It just seemed inconceivable. Well, consider when Jesus came to earth, he was telling us about a kingdom of God. And what he was saying sounded equally strange, because he was talking about a place where the meek shall inherit the earth, where you turn the other cheek, where you pray for your enemies, you pray for those who condemn you, where the last shall be first, and it was harder for a rich person to enter the kingdom. And he went around talking about a world that was probably incomprehensible to most of the people that he spoke with. And today it seems incomprehensible that there would be a different world that's so different from the world that we see and the world that we know about from our knowledge and perspective, just like these students in Japan. But the good news today, the gospel, the good news is there is a kingdom of God, and that Jesus was sent to tell us about and to teach us about the kingdom of God. And therefore we can say today, thanks be to God.